As the years go by, many of us begin to confront the complexities that come with aging. It's not just about the visible changes, like the graying hair, the deepening laugh lines, or the occasional ache that wasn't there before, but rather the deeper emotional and psychological shifts that come with growing older. The changes we experience are often more profound than we expect, and it's these internal transformations that can be the hardest to navigate. From countless online discussions, it's clear that people of all ages are grappling with similar challenges as they age. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or uncertain about the process of getting older, you're certainly not alone. Let's take a closer look at some of the common struggles people face and explore ways to work through them together. One of the most profound realizations that accompany aging is the awareness of time's inevitable passage. In our younger years, time feels like an endless resource. We have dreams, plans, and a sense that the future is open to us. But as we grow older, our perception of time shifts. Days, months, and even years seem to pass by more quickly, and the idea that life is finite becomes impossible to ignore. As people age, many express feelings of urgency, believing they need to accomplish certain goals before it's too late. This sense of time slipping away can create anxiety, and in some cases, it can lead to a midlife crisis, where one reassesses their life choices, often with a mix of regret and renewed hope. I remember reading a story shared by a man in his late 50s. He described how he had always dreamed of traveling the world, but life's demands, work, family, financial pressures, always held him back. Now, with his children grown and retirement on the horizon, he's finally planning the trips he had always envisioned. His story is a reminder that even though time feels limited, it's never too late to pursue what brings us joy. Another challenge that many face is the physical and mental decline that often accompanies aging. The physical changes are perhaps the most apparent. Our bodies no longer function the way they used to. We may experience more frequent injuries, take longer to recover, or simply find that we don't have the same stamina we once did. A user in their late 60s shared on a popular online forum how they used to be an avid runner but now struggle to jog without feeling winded. They expressed a sense of loss over no longer being able to engage in a hobby that once brought so much joy. Mental decline is another major concern. Issues like forgetfulness, slower cognitive processing, and conditions like Alzheimer's can be frightening. A common theme in many discussions on this topic is the fear of losing one's independence and the ability to enjoy life the way we once did. While these changes can be unsettling, it's important to shift our perspective. We can find new ways to stay active that are gentler on the body, like swimming or yoga. It's about adapting to these changes and finding new joys in life, rather than focusing on what we've lost. Loneliness is another challenge that tends to intensify as we age. Our social circles often shrink. Friends may move away, relationships may evolve, and sometimes people simply drift apart. For those who are single or whose children have grown and left home, isolation can become a significant issue. I came across a thread in an online forum where many individuals in their 60s and 70s shared how difficult it had become for them to make new friends. The sense of isolation felt especially acute after the pandemic, which made it harder for people to reconnect with the outside world. Loneliness is a heavy burden, but it's one we can lift by making an active effort to seek out connections. In my own life, I've found solace in joining local community groups, volunteering, and reconnecting with old friends. It's not always easy to put ourselves out there, but it's crucial to maintain social connections. Even when it feels like no one is around, we can find ways to foster new friendships and restore old ones. As we reflect on our lives, it's natural to feel a sense of regret or wonder about the opportunities we missed or the dreams we didn't fulfill. Many people find themselves questioning the paths they didn't take or the things they wish they had done differently. One man in his 70s shared his regret about never learning to play the piano a lifelong desire he had never pursued. His story resonated with many others who felt similar frustrations about unfulfilled dreams. It's important to remember, however, that it's never too late to chase after those dreams. We may not be able to change the past, but we can still shape our future. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, traveling to a place we've always wanted to visit, or simply learning something new, there is always room for growth and exploration. Regret is a part of life, but it doesn't have to define us. Finally, many people express feelings of uncertainty about their purpose as they age. When we're younger, our identities are often closely tied to our careers, our families, or our social roles. But as we grow older, these aspects of life can shift, leaving us to question who we are and what we're meant to do next. This can be especially challenging for those who retire or experience other major life transitions. The key is to embrace this phase as an opportunity for reinvention. As we age, we have the chance to explore new passions, develop new skills, and redefine what fulfillment means for us. In conclusion, while the challenges of aging are undeniably significant, they are also a part of a broader journey that we all share. The key to navigating this journey is to approach it with openness, adaptability, and a willingness to find new ways to live fully. Aging doesn't have to be something to fear. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth, connection, and rediscovery. Together, we can face the complexities of aging with resilience and hope, embracing every new chapter along the way. He had always put it off, but now he finds himself dedicating time each day to learning, even though it's harder than when he was younger. Regret is a powerful emotion, yet it can also be a great motivator. It serves as a reminder that there is still time to pursue our dreams, even if we have to approach them in ways we hadn't originally planned. From my experience, I've come to realize that it's never too late to start something new, and our past doesn't need to determine our future. As the world keeps changing at a rapid pace, many older individuals struggle to stay relevant. Technology keeps advancing, societal norms shift, and things that once felt familiar can suddenly feel alien. This often leads to a sense of disconnection from younger generations. I remember reading a post from a woman in her 50s who felt increasingly out of touch with her teenage children. She couldn't understand their world of social media, online gaming, and digital communication, which made her feel like she was losing her connection to them. Staying relevant, however, is about staying curious. Personally, I make it a point to learn new technologies, ask questions, and interact with younger people. It's not just about keeping up, it's about maintaining a meaningful connection to the world around us. As people age and their careers wind down, or their children grow up and become more independent, many face the challenge of finding a new sense of purpose. The roles that once defined us, parent, worker, caregiver, no longer take center stage, leaving us wondering what comes next. A woman in her 60s shared her experience of finding purpose after retirement. She spoke about rediscovering her love for art, something she hadn't had time for before, and how it brought a renewed sense of identity and fulfillment. Finding purpose later in life is about reconnecting with old passions or exploring new ones. For me, it has been about giving back, mentoring younger individuals, and dedicating time to causes I care about. It's a realization that our worth isn't solely tied to productivity, but to the love, wisdom, and experiences we share with others. As we age, the roles that once shaped our identities, whether as professionals, parents, or caregivers, begin to evolve or disappear altogether. This shift can leave us feeling disoriented, as we may no longer know who we are without the responsibilities and titles that once structured our lives. I remember reading about a woman in her 60s who felt a deep sense of loss after retiring from a successful career. Her job had been her identity for years, and when that ended, she felt uncertain of what to do with her time. I faced a similar experience when I retired. For a while, I felt a sense of displacement. But over time, I realized that this period of uncertainty was an opportunity to rediscover myself. I started journaling and reflecting on what truly mattered to me beyond my career. I explored hobbies that I had set aside, like gardening and painting, and reconnected with old friends. This journey helped me create a new identity, one that wasn't tied to a job title, but rather to the person I had become throughout my life. Many people believe that once our children become adults, our responsibilities as parents are over. However, for many, the need to care for our adult children or even our grandchildren continues well into our later years. This can be both a joy and a burden, as we try to balance our desire to help with the need to protect our own time and energy. I remember a man in his late 60s sharing his experience of moving in with his daughter to help care for his grandchildren. While he cherished the time with them, he admitted that he hadn't anticipated how physically demanding it would be. Changing diapers, running after toddlers, and trying to keep up with the energy of younger children in retirement was more exhausting than he'd expected. I understand that feeling all too well. Just recently, my daughter went through a similar phase in her life. When you're older, caring for grandchildren can feel like both a blessing and a challenge, especially when it comes to keeping up with their endless energy. The joy of spending time with them is undeniable, but there are moments when the demands can feel overwhelming. It's a delicate balance between being present for your family and also recognizing the need to care for your own well-being. This reality forces us to confront the idea of aging in a way that's more nuanced than we might have imagined. As we move through different stages of life, our sense of self and our roles constantly shift. We might feel a loss of identity or wonder about the future, but it's important to remember that these changes are an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. The challenges that come with aging don't have to be burdens. They can serve as catalysts for growth and self-discovery. It's about embracing this new chapter, learning from the past, and moving forward with the knowledge that we still have a lot to offer, no matter where we are in life. The key to navigating this transition is staying engaged with the world around us. Whether it's learning something new, helping others, or finding new passions, it's vital to keep pushing forward. Life in later years is not just about looking back at what we've done, but also about looking ahead to what we can still achieve. The journey may be different from what we once imagined, but that doesn't mean it's any less meaningful. There's always time to learn, to grow, and to create new opportunities for ourselves and the people around us. After a tough divorce, I found myself stepping in to support my young grandchildren, and what a blessing it has been to be a part of their lives. However, as much as I cherish being involved with them, it has also posed a challenge in finding the right balance. I've had to figure out how to set clear boundaries, learn to say no when I need rest, and carve out time for myself in the midst of it all. It's been a delicate juggling act, but it has taught me so much about love, patience, and the crucial importance of self-care. Retirement and the financial adjustments that come with it have their own set of challenges. We often hear about retirement as a time of relaxation and leisure, but for many, the transition is much more complicated. The shift from a steady income to living on a fixed pension can be quite stressful, and the lack of a daily routine can leave people feeling uncertain about how to fill their days. I remember reading about a man in his early 70s who, after retiring, found it difficult to manage his finances. He had not fully anticipated the reality of living on a pension compared to his previous salary, and soon found himself bored and unsure about his purpose. I can relate to that feeling. When I retired, I went through a similar adjustment. The financial shift was tough, but what truly surprised me was the emotional side of it. Suddenly, my days were completely open, and I had to figure out how to spend them in a meaningful way. That's when I decided to volunteer at a local shelter. It gave my days structure, and more importantly, a sense of purpose. I also had to become more mindful of my budget and found creative ways to manage my finances. Downsizing, enjoying simpler pleasures, and cutting unnecessary expenses helped me stretch my resources further. As we grow older, our relationships also undergo changes. Friendships that once felt unshakable can fade, family dynamics shift, and romantic relationships can face new hurdles. These changes can often leave us feeling isolated or questioning the bonds we once held dear. I remember a woman in her 50s sharing her struggle with the shrinking circle of friends she once had. Some had moved away, others had drifted apart due to the demands of life, and sadly, a few had passed. The loneliness she felt was profound, as she realized how difficult it was to maintain the connections she once had. I too have seen relationships evolve in my life. Some of my oldest friends have entered new stages, and it's become harder to stay in touch. But over time, I've realized that this is just a part of aging. Instead of grieving over what I've lost, I've learned to focus on nurturing the relationships that are still a part of my life, and to remain open to making new connections. I decided to join a local book club, and it introduced me to a wonderful group of people with shared interests. It was a reminder that while friendships may change, they can also grow in new and unexpected ways. Getting older certainly presents its challenges, but it's also a privilege that not everyone is granted. Aging is a time of reflection, transition, and perhaps most importantly, personal growth. Yes, there are losses and difficulties, but there are also moments of joy, triumph, and discovery. As we grow older, we have the opportunity to look back on a life well lived, to pass on the lessons we've learned, and to embrace the person we've become. Aging isn't the end of the journey. It's simply the beginning of a new chapter, filled with new possibilities and experiences. So as you navigate the complexities of aging, remember that you're not alone. There is a whole community of people out there who understand and have walked the same path. We're all in this together, ready to support each other as we go through the highs and lows of life. Sharing our experiences and offering support can turn the challenges of aging into a source of strength and wisdom. Embrace this stage of life with grace, resilience, and an open heart. The best is yet to come. If you found this video helpful, or if it resonated with you in any way, I encourage you to like and subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so feel free to share in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me again soon on this journey.